Hi everybody, this is Karak with ACG. What happens after you die? You know what? Who knows? But Jotun is going to try to tell you. It's a hand-drawn action exploration game from Thunder Lotus Games, and it's coming out very soon on Steam. Following the footsteps of the Viking woman Thora, who died a peasant's death, you're challenged to do something that'll make the gods sit up and take notice. And instead of balancing the budget or ending the polar bear migrations in the north, Thora grabs her axe and says, I'm gonna kill some gods. Pretty sure if someone went around slaughtering my friends, I'd pick up on it the first time nobody showed up to see the movie. But here, they pretty much leave her to her own devices as she runs around various locations solving strange puzzles and slaughtering aged ones. That's the entire story of Jotun, the game with the funny name that mixes Viking mythology and action-adventure game where the enemies are so John Holmes big they can't even be seen on the screen all at once. So here comes the review for Jotun. Enemies that give birth to flowers, 3,000 dirty dwarves, and bosses that straight up make the creatures in Shadow of Colossus look like Warwick Davis standing next to Shaquille O'Neal when he's on a ladder. Graphics are up first. You know that one friend of yours that collects all the high-definition backgrounds for his computer, 4K pictures of some character from Forgotten Realms? Well, I feel like the designers are a team of those guys, just all of them, because seriously, many times the world looks just that good. Thora handles the world with a graceful yet powerful step, and the hand-drawn animation does an excellent job with both movement and background, never making you feel lost within the landscape, even when sometimes the title loves to have you transparently passing underneath mountains deep or rivers wide. It's a fantastic programming treatise on negative space within a level, making the gamer feel and remember those moments when nothing was happening and no puzzle was perplexing, but instead they were just running along a windy path. There is a graceful connection to casualness here with an almost field of flowers kind of gameplay. Even when the world's cracking beneath you and lava's boiling out, you sort of look at it and shrug your huge yet somehow subtly feminine shoulders and say, good, my feet were getting cold. It runs without issue and it looks amazing throughout. Absolutely excellent use of color and imagery, sound, music, and voice.
Vilji vé og óðinn, drápu þursinn í mig. Hold hans varð að jörðinni, blóð hans varð að vatni. Hár hans varð að grasi og trjám.
Now, sound is up first in this trinity of awesome as always, and it's excellent with the cries of nature, the cries of death, and the cries of those already dead dying again, because hell is repetition, and that is indeed all done really well here. The sounds are crisp, tight, and they respect that audio can use the entire spectrum and does so with relish. Excellent special effects used from time to time as well within different environments. Music. This was excellent, with a love for low bellowing horns and battle hymns like they were going out of style. The tracks are suitably bombastic, excellent music use throughout, and it sets the tone well for each location that you're in and helps add the imagery. Voice. Well, the voice is also excellent. It's speaking another language, and they could be telling me to suck Jotunheim for all I know, but it's epic, sounds the part, and occasionally makes you think you're watching Lord of the Rings. It's really good and adds the needed atmosphere to the game, even if I can't tell exactly what they're saying without the subtitles. Gameplay. You're dead. Congratulations, now quit whining and explore 2 levels for each god you want to kill. Collect runes in these levels, and then open the door to their boss world and kill them. It's about that simple. Thora is armed with a massive axe and the slowest power attack known to man. I've seen children age into adulthood and serve life prison sentences faster than this power attack. Luckily, it's slow on purpose and happens to be connected to various enemy patterns, but it looks hilarious, like Thora is suddenly a female version of The Rock, waiting for a crowd reaction before dropping an elbow. Now, unlike what's probably been said or what you've read in other previews, there are some enemies in a very few number of these levels to fight, and they're usually precursors to a boss battle. They're easy, mindless robots drudging through life and simply reacting to your presence by barely acknowledging you and then trying to smother your life out. Now, that doesn't mean they're pushovers, and many of them are encountered in ways that are integral to understanding the level itself and possibly even a boss battle. And it's the levels that are both the high point and low point of this game. As a high point, they're interesting, beautiful affairs, and many have their own environmental dangers that add a spice to their makeup. Now, you won't hear complaints from me about exploring the cumulus clouds of God's Home, trying to hammer the crap out of what looks like pinball machine buzzers to map out a constellation to continue moving forward. But They also happen to, at times, be just a bit too spaced out for my taste. And if you die, which isn't out of the question, though the levels aren't that hard to begin with, the plain and simple fact is, you're going to end up trudging through the same repeated locations. What was once a sparse location now apparently is a barren one. It's going to be a single playthrough title, I think, for most people, and it's driven home by the fact that any repetition whatsoever was mind-drudgingly awful. Using boats to traverse lava dangers and deserted islands is fun the first time, but the second time that itch of anxiety, wishing you could at least kill something or do something else, begins to occur, and it stretches out forever. Environmental effects are cool, but at times seem almost needlessly placed, resulting in, at the best of times, interesting interactions, and at the worst of times, just bothersome annoyances, especially on the second or third walkthrough. Something I hate to see in titles like this, and most likely because of the lack of enemies or large numbers of enemies, it can sort of creep up on you. Now, once you collect 2 rune stones for each boss world, you can go and attack them, and that's when it gets awesome. The bosses are massive creatures with various forms and ways to attack, though their patterns are relatively easy. I like that the game also allows you to take on a boss right when you gain 2 of their runes, even though exploring both within their levels and within other gods' levels might net you a couple powers or a golden apple, which extends your life bar. It's a cool way to allow someone, I think, to test the waters and get smote like they insulted someone's mother, and then come back later and try again with a couple spells like speed, shield, and healing. Now, nothing is new here, but the artistry and connected fictions in which they are handled is second to none, and offers some very tangible connections to the atmosphere that go a long way to anchor the storytelling, even though the gameplay at times can sort of drag behind. Fun factorino. Listen, this is a world so badass, even the eagles have eyes like a hawk, or actually just a hawk between their eyes because that's cooler and more mystical that way. And things like that make the game really enjoyable from a lore standpoint, but its general setup and sedate nature means that, for various reasons, it is possible that it can get a bit long in the tooth far before it ever should. That being said, it both feels and looks like a Spartan, less busy version of Bastion, which both helps it and may hold it back depending on the gamer who's getting it. It is a solid title, it's just not as gamey as a couple deaths will make you wish it was. I'll just say this, I thought the game was fun, but I do think it wore out its welcome a little quicker than I would have liked. So as always, you guys know I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, wait for a deep sale, or never talk about it again rating scale. At $14.99, I don't feel bad saying that this is actually a buy, though the fun factor was not as high as I would have liked. The overall game itself was well worth playing through. It's just you need to be warned what kind of game it is, and the fact that if you aren't into a more sedate, exploratory, sort of just visual ambient vibe, then in the end, you may not find that this title is gamey enough. In fact, as somebody else pointed out to me, in weird ways, at times, it's almost like a walking simulator in 2.5D. And of course, with added giant boss battles every once in a while. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the review. If you get a chance, please subscribe. It would help. If you like the video, hit like. If you dislike, hit dislike. And hey, guess what? You know what? Why don't we all peace out?